I'm Hexy, and in this video I'll show you how to draw anime eyes. As always, this is just my personal method, so these are not strict rules, but I hope it can help you finding your own style. Let's see first how our realistic eye is made. So the eyeball is indeed a ball, a sphere. As you can see here, it's partially hidden because of our skin and eyelids. Let's see the main parts of the eyes. The white part is called sclera. The colored part is called iris. And the black dot is called pupil. Then around the eyeball, we can see the lids, the tear duct, and the lashes. The shape of the eye is a sort of shrinked parallelogram. When I draw it, the order of the strokes is first one up, second down, third down, and fourth up. If an eye is relaxed, the iris is always partially hidden. When we look at the sides, our eyeballs rotate, so the iris looks shrinked when it's not at a frontal position. Just like this. This though kinda looks like a clay doll. I will show you what I mean by using these 3D assets I downloaded from Clay Studio Paint assets. As the eye rotates, the iris shrinks and the pupil shrinks and gets more towards the inner eye because the iris is concave. Well, this black part you see when the eye is in a profile side is called cornea, and it's convex. It covers the iris and lets the light enter inside. Let's see how all this works with real pictures. So, frontal iris is round. Side iris is super shrinked here. Here looks less shrinked, but you can tell it's not frontal. And while here, it's a 3/4 side and it's looking up. Here's how they look without the pictures below. I'll trace the shape of the eye. Look how different they look in different positions. Let's try to draw a realistic eye first, and then we'll draw anime eyes based on this. So, I do the up, down, down, up technique. I draw the tear duct and trace a line to see if it cuts the eye perfectly. I make a circle for the iris. Remember to make it partially hidden. And the pupil. Then I make the eyelids. They are fold of skin. I made this second line to give thickness to the lower eyelid. It's time for eyelashes. I did practice a lot during the years to make them look nice. This is how they look from the side. This is how they look frontally. What I do to draw them is to press the pen, then drag and release to make the curve. So yeah, press, drag a tiny bit and release. Here's the profile eye. I make a sort of triangular shape and draw the pupil like we saw before. Remember to always use references. Tear duct is barely visible here, and as you can see, the lashes are seen from the side. Last is 3/4 eyes, and a side of the eye is seen bigger than the other. As you can see on the frontal one, the left and right side of the eye is equal, while in 3/4, the left eye is way less than the right part. I'll make some guidelines to how me drawing anime eyes. Now, let's make similar guidelines but then not them touch. I draw this thick part and then add a triangular lash at the end. It's super popular in anime style. I like to add a second line on the top lash. Then I draw the bottom lash and make its final part thicker. Then I add eyelashes, way less than a realistic eye. Iris and the pupil are oval this time, and as the realistic eye, the iris is partially hidden. They're super different, but you can tell both are eyes because we added the most important features of the eye to make it recognizable. Profile eye now. I make a sort of triangular shape but higher than the realistic one. I follow the guidelines to draw the top and bottom lashes. Then I draw eyelashes and make them curve like the realistic one. The iris is more shrinked here too, and since it's concave, the pupil is placed in the middle, not here. 3/4 now, I make similar guidelines and draw the lashes. The bottom one looks a bit more lifted here, and I add eyelashes that follow these movements. Then we add iris and pupil. Here they are all together! They both are same and different. You can use tons of shapes to use the guidelines to draw anime eyes. What's fun is that they're not realistic, so you can go crazy with shapes and styles. Each shape also gives a certain feeling, so you can use shrinked and pointy eyes to draw fierce characters, or you can use circles to make cute and bubbly eyes. This shape is my personal favorite, it looks so cool! Let's take a screenshot from an actual anime and let's look at their eyes. This is Kaguya from Kaguya-sama Love is War. These eyes are super cute. I try to follow the movements to get the shape. This eye style has no pupil, for example. When I have to draw anime eyes from the beginning, I use these guidelines that start from the beginning of the ears and finish almost at their end. I make two squares while I draw the eyes. I start with the usual movements and make the triangular lash at the end. I add a second line of lashes and a lower lash. I draw the iris like this and then add the bottom lash. Feel free to adjust as you please, don't be afraid to move parts. I add the other details like pupil, eyelid, and brows. When I draw 3/4 face, I use same method and add a line that divides the face in half. This square is smaller because when you turn your face, that eye look shrinks. They don't look the same. Same for the iris. The pupil looks super close to the side. I add details and adjust a bit. To help you draw eye positionings, you can use 3D models. I use CSP and it has a wide range of super helpful assets, like this mask that shows you how eyes look when you turn your face, or whole full body models like this one. Let's trace on its face to see better how eyes work. So, look at this view from below. It's one of the most difficult poses for eyes, and note, I make the guidelines and then draw on them. It's super easy to understand eye positioning. Do the same thing for this view from above. I drew the guidelines from the 3D model and now I'll draw a character. I draw the irises like they're cut in half and draw the pupils super close to the lashes, so it looks like the character is looking up to you. And leave the space between the irises and the bottom lashes. Here's 3/4 again. I draw the guidelines and I draw this character. So yeah, use 3D models to help you. You feel like you're cheating? You are not! These are tools that the drawing program is providing. Use them! You are not cheating! You are learning and you're making things faster and less stressful. These are super helpful resources, so don't be afraid to use them. I'll show you now my personal eye style and coloring to end this tutorial. I use a shape I told you earlier that I really like. For the iris, I color it like this without the line art. Then I do a gradient, add a dark multiply layer, and erase the middle. I draw the pupil and add some weird stuff that reminds me of the realistic eyes. They're just random though. I'll make this zigzag line cause I honestly don't know, but it looked cool. I erase some parts of the sides. I add a lighter line below and make this round shiny thing. I still don't know what to represent, but all anime eyes have it, so why not? I add a sort of dark outline. I go back to the base iris layer and blur it. I blur the sclera too. Then with the lasso tool I make this shadow and use a purplish color and a line of orange. I blur it too, and I set it to multiply. Then I add a screen color that should be the reflection of the sky and draw the reflected lashes in it. I grab the darker shade of the iris to color the lashes, and then the lighter to add a shine. Then with airbrush I add the skin color to the edges. Last step is to add the highlights. I use red and blue to make it look like 3D. Ah, yeah, the heart thingy too. Here is the result! So yeah, it's everything for today's video. I hope it was useful to learn how to draw anime eyes. Please practice a lot, and don't get discouraged if you don't like the first eyes you draw. It takes time and patience. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.